We're back on Brew With A Blue. It's Thursday, nearing the weekend now. Hope everybody's doing okay. We've got another fantastic guest today. It's the creator, co-host, pretty much everything in regards to Toffee TV. It's Barry Cash. Barry, thanks very much for coming on. Are you all right, mate?
Sam, I mean, that was a bit of a big build-up, but yes, thank you very much.
It's all true, isn't it, to be fair?
Well, yeah, but I'm good, mate. I'm good. How are you?
Good, mate. I know Ped likes to put himself across as the brains of the operation, but I think everyone knows it's you, really.
Well, I mean, he's the technical. I'll leave him with the technical stuff. You know, the actual football chat that might have a little semblance of of balance about it comes from me. Yeah, he's the creative director, so we leave him with that.
Great stuff. We'll have a chat about Toffee TV in a minute. Obviously, you passed a landmark this week, and it's great news for you guys. But just first and foremost, how are you doing? How are you finding things? You texted me yesterday saying you've been doing a bit of homeschooling this morning. What's that been like?
Yeah. It's all. To be fair, me missus having to work at home as well, and my daughters should have been graduating from to be a teacher, and obviously that's up the wall. She only had about 6 weeks left, and that'll be in it. So she's been at home at times doing the homeschooling. But yeah, I've had a little go, and my admiration for teachers is through the roof. Zach's not bad. He's all right, but his concentration, he'd rather be in the garden with the football. So getting him, he's dancing off, screaming his Everton pyjamas on. So that's how well it's going this morning.
That's I mean, all right. Could be worse. Could be Liverpool pyjamas. You know.
No, he won't be living here, Matt.
Is that been hard for you though to sort of change that family dynamic and go into that? You've got to teach the kids, because I imagine at home he's used to talking about Everton, but you, like you said, playing footy in the garden. All of a sudden, it's like we've got to be a bit serious here now. Yeah,
it's obviously the school sends a week's schedule of what he should be doing, and you know what, he's got a lot more focused than I'd have had at 9. I would have just been dreaming about Adrian Heath or Graham Sharp or something. So he's a lot better than probably I would be. But yeah, it's getting him to sit down and do. He's very good at maths. The maths isn't an issue. He races through that. But getting him to write his English stuff, you need to threaten him with not being able to play on his PlayStation and stuff like that. No FIFA. Otherwise, if you don't do this. But it's okay. It's not too bad.
Is your back garden cut up from all the footy he's been playing and stuff?
You know what? I could lift it up and show you, Matt. There's about 7 grains of, 7 threads of grass on it. The rest is, as I look out, it's a mud. Yeah. It's just dried mud where he's destroyed it. Because he won't, I say to him in the winter, don't go out, mate, because it's wet. And he goes out for an hour with the ball. So I'm not going to stop him. But there isn't a back garden. I've looked at putting AstroTurf in, but me missus isn't.
Yeah.
I mean, that'd be better, but...
That'd be amazing.
I know. He's saying get off camera, but yeah.
There you go. I agree with that, mate. I agree with that.
Well, it'd be better. He wouldn't be coming in muddy, so it'd be better.
Be nice and green out there, Lush. People say. People from far away would say, how did he get his grass that green all the time? But on to Toffee TV then. 40,000 this week. Just unbelievable achievement, that, mate. Congratulations to you both. You must be dead proud.
Yeah, it's been a slog, but it's good. It's good. I don't know. We do work hard. We put a lot into it, but when it gets to numbers like that, obviously it's fantastic, and every kind of milestone that we hit is, you just want to be thankful to everybody that tunes in and watches and subscribes, and I think as we go along, the bigger it gets, the more respect it gets from I don't know, from the club and from other people and people who want to do stuff with you. And what we're finding now is people are coming to us a lot now, and ex-players and things like that, and I want to do the stuff. So that's been the biggest difference. But the sleepless nights and the editing at 2 o'clock is worth it, because it starts in the morning, and we then go to the studio for 7 hours, 8 hours, and then come home and do something with me missus, watch TV or something, and then edit for another 2 hours, and then start again with the homeschooling. Yeah. But it's great. It's fantastic. It's fantastic.
Yeah. I think that's probably the side of people that realise is that, people probably see the hour video, like the final word or whatever, that sort of thing, and think it's, you can probably box that off in 2-3 hours, but it does take a lot more than that, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, look, you've been with us many times, and at the, early on and all of that, and I've still got that picture on my phone of me, you, and Ped sat in the studio with one picture behind us doing the Watford preview.
Yeah.
I think that Ross Barkley did when Barkley scored and we drew 2-2.
Coney scored as well, didn't he, that day?
Coney scored, yeah. I was in America, actually. I'd just gone and you had to pick up the pieces of that final bit, but doing like the preview and stuff. So we've come a long way from them. But you're right, it's stuff, yourself, you'll do a 15-minute video or a 20-minute video and people will see that and watch for 10 of it. And but it took you about, a couple of hours at least just to put that together. It's like the News Daily. It's 5 minutes and, that takes time and processing and everything. So it's a lot longer than what you think. It certainly, it gives you the, admiration is not the right word, but it gives you a respect for everybody who does it, and even for TV programs and stuff, because you're used to doing the camera cuts and editing it together and everything. When you're watching something on telly, you notice things that you probably wouldn't have done. So it's it's good. It's good, but it is a lot more work than what you think. Yeah.
And is it
frustratingly sometimes it takes longer than what you want it to take. You have something in your mind, don't you, and go, 20 minutes, 25 minutes, it'll be sound that, and an hour and a half later, you're still trawling through handbrake and everything. And
yeah, and I imagine there's nothing worse than editing a long video after the defeat or something like that, and you've got to go through it all. You've got to hear the same thing. It must be hard work. But just in regards to what it's become now, is it more or less what you envisaged it being when you set out to start this all those years ago, or has it sort of evolved into something completely different?
I suppose the answer to that is I don't know. Is the real answer. I wanted to do this 10 years ago, to be honest. It was very difficult. So I think the Redmen started in 2010, but I wanted to do this just out of pure frustration for Everton just being swerved by everyone. We can't even get, I personally don't feel like we get anywhere near the coverage we should get from the Liverpool Echo and things like that, which is our own city. So the likes of Sky were never going to give us anything, and there was just nowhere for Evertonians to kind of, I don't know, go and watch Everton. I don't know. That was in my mind. I was like, well, let's do something that, we can just talk about the match and people can get involved in or whatever. But 10 years ago it was a lot more difficult. YouTube was difficult to put stuff on, and phones weren't as good, and cameras were really expensive, and so started doing the radio, and with the intention, I suppose, of coming back to this. And when we started it in 2014, I don't know. I honestly don't know. It was let's do the match stuff and see how we go, because wanted it to be like you say, you've done loads of stuff with us, so you'll know that it's, we try to create it as us just sitting in a room having a chat, which is what we do, which is what we done before we started. That we have a chat about footy, and that's how I wanted it to come across. And then everything else has come, and to be honest, Matt, we've got lots of stuff in the pipeline that want to get going, but there's no footy, and trying to dig deeper into football when there's no football is very difficult. So the long answer to your question is I don't know. I don't know if this is how I envisaged it, but I'm certainly very proud of what we've done so far. Yeah.
And you said there in regards to how fan media, inverted commas, I still don't really know if that's the right thing. It sounds a little bit knockoff. I feel as though maybe it's a little bit patronising when people say things like that about like the Toffee TV and other other outlets who've got journalists, people working for them. But you sort of
Blue
said
room.
there, yeah, well, yeah. You sort of said there that there's a frustration in regards to how that you guys are perceived, and when you look at it, you've got 40,000 subscribers on YouTube, which is more than people that go to Goodison every week, and that sort of stuff. I mean, is that still the one thing you sort of look at as the main? Maybe obstacle's not the right word, because it's not stopped you from thriving so far, but certainly in taking that next step is getting that wider acclaim. I mean, it feels as though it's certainly going in the right direction, at least.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, obviously we do it. We do it full time now, and we've done it coming up to 2 years full time. And in that time, it's become it's become more of a media company now because it's our job, and we've got a chief executive type. I mean, that sounds massively grander, isn't that?
Is it Usmanov?
It's Usmanov. That's what we're hoping. No, but what I mean is we've obviously got an advisor, like a business advisor, well, chief executive. I try to make it sound better. It's not. We've got a business advisor as well. So when people say fan media, and I get why people would say it, that I don't feel like that applies to certainly us. I know you do a lot of stuff full time. So that, I think that applied to me when I had my own website and was writing stuff on Everton. I've no issue being that, because it is. I still am. I'm a fan first and foremost, but there is a slight. I think there is a slight differentiation just because we do it professionally. I've done journalism when I was doing my degree. I haven't got a degree in journalism, but I'd done journalism as part of my degree. So I've got a little bit of that kind of background in it. But yeah, the problem you've got is where it sits. Not so much with people who watch or whatever, and listen. You know, you'll get positive and negative all the time, as I'm sure you'll know anyway. The more you do it, the more eyes you get on it. You know, you could give people, 100 free kits and 10 of them would hate you for it, and 90. So you're going to get that. You're not going to please everybody, of course. You're not, and we know that anyway, just in general life. But it's the attitudes probably within the game that there was a little bit of resistance. But I feel as though it is changing, because the one thing that changes people's minds is the numbers you get, and it's changing anyway. We're sitting here doing this. If you put Sky Sports on, it's what Sky Sports. I know they have to, and of course they do, and we have to, because I'd like nothing better than you to come in the studio or whatever we do, face it, and we can have a proper chat and all that. But so. Yeah, it's you are facing resistance because there's people who don't like you muscling in, I guess.
Yeah.
People who it's proper journalists. But at the end of the day, I've got David Maddock on this week today, I think, and people like that, and a lot more of them are quite happy now to do this, because I think they see the numbers, and when you're getting...
It gives them a platform, doesn't it, then, as well,
exactly.
To get their views across.
We're getting, just on videos alone, it's like, I don't know, like 700,000 views a month and stuff. Other times it's 1 million, other times... So they see these numbers and go, oh, okay, it's worth my while. And whereas, obviously, when you're building up to that, it's a little bit more difficult. But I think more people are more accepting of it now, because it's going that way.
Yeah, and I suppose in the same breath as well, it's like you said, in regards to it's interesting where it sits, because you don't want to become the juggernaut, I suppose, and for supporters to sort of move away from that, because you sit as sort of, your voices that Everton fans can resonate with. You go with the game, you see the team, you live and breathe it every week, and if you sort of moved away from that a little bit more, it might sort of take away the niche a little bit.
Yeah, definitely. We don't want to be, we don't want to be the Liverpool Echo. We don't want to be the Daily Mirror. We don't want to be Sky Sports News. And so we are very mindful of that. I don't think I could anyway. I don't think I could become sanitised. It is probably the best way to be neutral about Everton, because for all of those reasons you've just said, I live and breathe it. So I try to be as unbiased as I can be when I'm watching. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But I wouldn't want to be, because we're Evertonians at the end of the day. We're there because we're fans, and we're just fans having a chat, I guess, but trying to do it as professionally as we can do. And that's probably about it. But you're right, it's where it sits is the challenge, really. But the more, all you can do is continue going, can't you? And try to do the best you can. That's all it is.
No, it's a great resource for Blues, mate. And even though I remember coming in quite a lot during Marnez's last season, and some of the matches we spoke about during that campaign, where, albeit they were horrible ones to talk about, it was always a good laugh and good times. So yeah. But just moving on slightly, then, obviously,
go on.
As we're sitting here on Thursday, Wednesday was the 25th anniversary of 1995. Bittersweet time indeed. You spoke to Paul Rydell's on the channel. Really, really interesting interview. But just in general, Baz, when you look back at those 25 years and look back at that day, I mean, what are your emotions? Because I was sort of looking at the coverage from Everton and other outlets yesterday, and I don't know, it almost felt like the club were a little bit hesitant to really push it, because it was a great achievement, great team. Joe did a fantastic job with them, and it was a side that should be cherished and remembered well. But it's almost as though they're blemished by the 25 years that have gone since. And I'd like to sort of point it out, look, 25 years ago. So it felt as though they sort of went halfway with it a little bit.
Yeah, I think that it's difficult, isn't it? Because obviously we live in a city with one of the most successful clubs ever. Mm-hmm. It's, and they are a juggernaut. You mentioned the word juggernaut before. Liverpool are, whether we like it or not, they are, aren't they? And Everton will always be the biggest club in the world to us, but to most people who aren't Evertonians, Liverpool are the biggest, and rightly so. So I think the way to celebrate it is on this day kind of thing. 25 years ago we won the FA Cup. No, we won the FA Cup, the last trophy we won. So it was always going to be a difficult one, I guess, for the club to push. Yeah. How do you push it? But saying, 25 years ago today, we won the FA Cup, and it was a big, Paul Rydell scored. It was great. It was a major honour. What's followed since is obviously embarrassing, isn't it? Of course it is. But I think you haven't got any divine right to win trophies. There's 3 major honours to win in this country, and that's it. And people don't really want it. I mean, we do, but a lot of people look at the League Cup and go, it's a Mickey Mouse Cup, and people look at the FA Cup like that now, because obviously we've been totally and utterly conditioned to think that the Champions League's the be-all and end-all, when I think that's the difference. 25 years ago, we were all winning trophies, finishing, saying to Evertonians, I hope we finish 4th. We'd have just been like, what are you talking about? Yeah. Exactly. So that's been the big change, hasn't it? But for us as a club, we still won the league the 4th most times in England, and that to me puts Everton above teams like Chelsea and City as clubs, not as teams. They're bigger teams than us at the moment, and in the Premier League era they dwarf us for what they've won. But we shouldn't be embarrassed or giving it one of them when these anniversaries come around, because if it's 26 years you just go, oh yeah, 25, it's a big thing, isn't it? And in some respects it should drive us on. The one thing I'd say, Matt, is I've spoke a lot to the 80s team of late and the 90s team and stuff, and the big thing speaking to those players is the mistakes we've made, and in terms of when we let players go, not strengthening when we were strong or building. The Joe Royle thing, he went in to sign 2 players and walked out, wasn't our manager anymore. So but it's things like that, isn't it? They've been the mistakes, and we're still kind of seeing them now. We had 4 years ago, we had a pot of money where we could have done pretty much anything. If we would have had Brands and Ancelotti then, given with Lukaku and things like that, and spent the money correctly, who knows where we'd be. But there comes a point when you have to just kind of go, well, what is done is done, and I hope now, with Brands in place and with having Ancelotti, I hope that we finally start to do the right thing, because I'm a great believer if you put the right processes in and do the right things, it will turn for you. And we mightn't dominate like Manchester City and things like that, because money might dictate that, but Liverpool's, Evertonians mightn't like me saying this, but Liverpool should, I guess, be an example for us to kind of follow.
You've got to be, haven't they? Yeah.
Well, in what they've done since Klopp come in. Klopp come in, said they're going to win the league in 4 years. I spat my tea out, because they had Ricky Lambert up front. 4 years later, they're about to be crowned champions. So that's got to be our aim, I guess. Yeah,
and I think the worry for me in regards to winning trophies is you sort of look at it, and I think if you look at Moyes and the peak years of Moyes, and sort of feel as though we had a lot of missed opportunities there. In regards to not it wasn't even that we missed chances to win trophies. We didn't give ourselves the chance to win trophies. League Cup exits. We're speaking earlier this week on one of our shows about when we got knocked out by Leeds in the League Cup one year and stuff like that.
Francisco Junior in midfield.
Yeah, he played centre mid, and just eliminations like that. And I feel as though we should have given ourselves more chances to win trophies in that spell. Certainly between 2005 up to about 2013 when he left, we should have had more chances. I sort of look at it now, Baz, and you look at the League Cup and you mentioned there how it's considered not really that important to a lot of people. Manchester City have won it 5 out of the last 7 years.
I was going to say, apart from Man City, they seem to be the only ones who are bothered by it.
And then you've got Mourinho, who won it one of the other years as well. And I think you've got managers at the top now, and there's so much pressure on those managers to perform and to point at something and go, look what I've done, this is why I shouldn't be sacked. They're taking those competitions a lot more seriously. And I think that's the worry for us, I think, is that's closing our window potentially to just end up in a final of one of these competitions.
But you're absolutely right. But the way I kind of look at it, Matt, is, and I agree with you, but a lot of those times when people say, oh, well, we didn't take that seriously, or we didn't take that, I just don't think we had good enough players. And that's the thing. And the thing about winning trophies is at some stage you've got to overcome the best teams to become one of the best teams. I don't think Liverpool worry about facing Manchester City, did they? They thrived on it and challenged themselves, and in fact lost the League Cup final to City, didn't they, in Klopp's first season? So
I suppose for them, that the wins they had over them in the league and the Champions League has sort of been the catalyst for them to go on and surpass them, hasn't it?
Oh, definitely. And we have to have, I think you've got to keep that belief that if you do the right things and you get the right players, don't forget we've got something probably. You're a little bit younger than me. So therefore, without a shadow of a doubt, in my opinion, you're the best manager we've had since Kendall, and probably the most high-profile manager I would say Everton have ever had in their history. Now through the door. So all the evidence we're pointing at of we've missed League Cup opportunities, and let's not forget the biggest opportunity we had was in 2016. We had Manchester United at Wembley, who were grim. We had Romelu Lukaku, 25 goal a season centre forward for us. And instead of sacking Martinez after Anfield, which we should have done in hindsight, we should have done anyway. We all said that at the time because he was gone at that time. The players weren't interested. If we'd have gone to Wembley with David Unsworth and Joe Royal, say, for that semi-final, with Rom up front, who knows? Don't forget, the other semi-final was Crystal Palace and Watford. So, we also lost to the worst Liverpool team I've seen in my lifetime in 2012 at Wembley. We were, Andy Cadell in the last minute. So we've had a couple of opportunities. We haven't quite been able to do it, but you've got to think that with a world-class manager, and we've got a good core of young players, that belief has got to be there, because at the end of the day, it's 11v11, isn't it, when you cross the white line, and especially cup games, you might turn around and go, well, it's difficult to finish above City with what we've got. Well, it might be, but you build towards that. But in a one-off 90-minute game, if the draw's kind to you, Swansea got to a League Cup final and played Bradford City, who were in the League Two. Do you know what I mean? Well, but I know the only game, the tough game they had was Chelsea in the semi-final that year, and they beat them. So they still had to overcome a big team, but they got Bradford from League Two and won 5-0. So it's things like that you'd have to keep in the back of your mind, because I'm not going to sit here with my 9-year-old with his Everton pajamas on telling him it's impossible to win trophies, because it was impossible to win trophies when I was a kid. We were in the city with the best team in Europe by a mile. Now, people might say they're the best team, but they're not, because they're out this year. But when I was growing up, they were winning European Cups every week. So not only did we have to overcome them in our city to have the thing, we have to overcome the best team in Europe in our city, and we did that. So you'd have to maintain. I get the game's changed, the money dictates, but what hasn't changed is being able to build a good team. And Leicester City are about to finish in the top 4 for the second time in 4 years, without being a juggernaut, aren't they? So that's what we have to hold on to.
Yeah, I think the point you make about the process and having the right people is spot on. If you've got someone like Marcel Brands, someone like Carlo Ancelotti, and you put faith in them, I suppose that's it, isn't it? It's keeping belief in these fellas and hoping they can sort of turn it around for us. But it's been fascinating chatting to you, mate. Thanks very, very much for coming on. Anything?
Pleasure.
So you've got David Maddock coming on Toffee TV this week. Anything else coming up?
We've got David Maddock on think Alan Myers as well. I think I'm waiting on a phone from Alan Myers just to confirm. We've got an interview out with Don Hutchison.
Class fella.
Yeah, Don's fantastic.
Yeah.
I don't know when that's out. It's out on Patreon tomorrow, so it'll probably be YouTube at the weekend. So, yeah, got some good stuff coming up. So, it's all good. It's all good. It'd be nice just to, it's nice to talk football because obviously away from it, everything, people are struggling and there's a lot going on. But it's nice to just be able to have a chat with you about footy, although you're bringing the Martinez years back up there. It's kind of give me that little
shiver again.
A little shiver again that we had regularly.
I'll go and lock myself in a dark room and cry for a bit. Thinking about some of those games. The West Ham 3-2.
Oh, Matt, don't.
Oh, my God. Oh, no.
Don't. Arsenal 3-0. When we had Stones in midfield with Seamus Coleman. Lukaku on left back or something. Yeah.
Dearie me, mate. Dearie me. But no, it's been a pleasure. To people who've watched this video, thanks very much. Give it a share. We're trying to get closer to, well, we're nowhere near Toffee TV. We're trying to launch our YouTube channel. We're trying to get to 1,000 subscribers. So please give it a share. Please give it a watch. Listen to our podcast we've got out this week as well. Go and check out Toffee TV. I'm sure you all have already. We'll be back again on Brew With A Blue very soon.